How did we get here? How did Hollywood's golden couple, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, go from being the ultimate relationship goals to finding themselves at the center of a growing storm? For years, they were adored. Flawless red carpet. Appearances, witty social media banter, a seemingly perfect marriage that made even the most cynical believe in true love. But lately, something has shifted. The whispers have turned into headlines, and the carefully curated image is beginning to crack. Public moments that once charmed the masses are now met with eye rolls, and the same social media that once fueled their popularity is now teeming with criticism. And if this sounds familiar, it's because we've seen this script play out before, just with a different leading couple. Yes, Blake and Ryan may just be following in the footsteps of Meghan and Harry, another once-beloved duo whose attempts to control their own narrative ended up making them some of the most polarizing figures in modern celebrity culture. But what really happened? And more importantly, can they turn this around? Let's talk about SNL 50, because that's where things started to unravel in full view of the public. What should have been a lighthearted, nostalgic celebration of one of television's most iconic shows turned into a cringe fest that left audiences shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Ryan, known for his charm and effortless comedic timing, delivered a performance that was, to put it kindly, bizarrely aggressive. The jokes didn't land, the energy was off, and it felt like he was trying way too hard. Instead of the usual, playful confidence, he came across as someone painfully aware of the cameras, but oblivious to the awkwardness unfolding in real time.
I have a question.
Oh, hey, Ryan Reynolds.
Hi.
Hey. Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
And then there was Blake, front and center, laughing just a little too hard, the over-the-top support bordering on performative. It was a moment so uncomfortable that people couldn't look away, and they didn't. Social media erupted, not just over the awkwardness of the performance, but over something deeper. The growing sense that Ryan and Blake weren't quite as relatable as they'd led people to believe. The backlash wasn't just about one bad night. It was about a pattern. Over the past few months, fans and critics alike have started piecing together moments that, on their own, might have been brushed off, but, when viewed together, started painting a very different picture. The carefully curated social media presence, once seen as fun and lighthearted, now felt overly calculated. The playful teasing, starting to feel forced. And the thing about the internet is that it has a long memory. People began resurfacing. Past interviews, past statements, and moments that once seemed charming but now had a different context. Suddenly, the perfect Hollywood couple didn't seem so perfect after all. This is where the comparisons between Meghan and Harry start making sense. Because if there's one thing we've learned from modern celebrity culture, it's that audiences have a limit. They'll root for you. They'll love you. They'll even defend you. Until they don't. And when that switch flips, it's nearly impossible to reverse. If you think about it, the parallels are hard to ignore. A beloved Hollywood figure marries someone with a strong personality, and together they become a power couple. The media and the public adore them at first, but then the image starts to change. Maybe it's the way they handle criticism, maybe it's the feeling that they're trying to control their own narrative a little too much, or maybe it's just an overexposure issue. Whatever the reason, slowly but surely, the tide starts turning. The adoration fades, replaced by skepticism. And then, the real damage happens. Not in one explosive scandal, but in a slow, steady decline of public favor. The shift in perception isn't just about how they present themselves. It's about how people feel when they see them. Once upon a time, Ryan Reynolds was the guy everyone wanted to be friends with. The guy who could effortlessly crack a joke, turn a press interview into a viral moment, and still come across as genuine. And Blake, the effortlessly cool, slightly mysterious, fashion-forward icon who seemed to exist in that rare space between Hollywood royalty and the girl next door. But lately, that easy charm has felt off. The relatable humor feels a little too polished. Now, the power couple moments seems a little too staged. It's not that they've done anything particularly shocking. It's that the audience is starting to feel like they're in on the joke. But the joke isn't funny anymore. There's a reason why the rise and fall celebrity arc is so fascinating. It's about psychology just as much as it is about entertainment. We love to put celebrities on a pedestal, but we also love to watch them struggle. And once the public decides that someone has lost touch, it's nearly impossible to win them back. Meghan and Harry learned this the hard way. What started as a public fairy tale ended in endless headlines, viral memes, and a level of scrutiny. That made it clear the audience had checked out. And right now, Blake and Ryan are standing at that same crossroads. And let's not forget that the way celebrities handle criticism plays a huge role in how the public perceives them. There was a time when Ryan Reynolds could respond to a negative comment with a quick-witted joke and instantly win everyone back. But now, those same remarks feel defensive rather than playful. There's a fine line between self-aware humor and overcompensation. And lately, it feels like he's leaning a little too far into the latter. Blake, on the other hand, has always been more reserved when it comes to public perception. She's never been one to overshare, and in some ways that has worked in her favor. But with the shift in how people are viewing her and Ryan, her silence is starting to feel more like avoidance than mystery. And in an era where audiences expect transparency, that silence speaks volumes. But here's the thing. Unlike Meghan and Harry, Ryan and Blake still have time to course correct. The shift in public opinion hasn't fully solidified yet, and that means there's still a chance to turn things around. But it's going to take more than just another witty Instagram post or another red carpet appearance. If they really want to reclaim their status as Hollywood's golden couple, they're going to have to do something far more difficult. Be real. Drop the perfectly curated moments, step back from the overexposure, and remind people why they fell in love with them in the first place. Because at the end of the day, audiences don't turn on celebrities just because they get tired of them. They turn on them when they stop believing them. So the question remains, is this just a rough patch, or are we witnessing the start of a full-blown Hollywood reckoning? One thing's for sure. If Blake and Ryan don't take control of the narrative, in a way that feels authentic, they might just find themselves following in the footsteps of another famous couple who once had it all, until they didn't.